Hello everyone, welcome to another build video of mine. This time I made a warrior build called the Hammer Burst Warrior. DPS wise, this is one of my favorite builds. This build gives us plenty of abilities to control our opponents and deal high amount of damage at the same time. To obtain this high damage, we are actually building this warrior full glass cannon, which is something that I usually don't really suggest. But because of the warrior's high base stats, we will still have a decent amount of survivability and from our utilities and control skills. Starting up with our traits, I couldn't decide on the last 10 points, so I have left this as an option for you guys to customize a little bit more. I did leave a few suggestions on the right side, so you can take those over if you want, but it's really up to you. These traits have been set up to boost our damage as much as possible while maintaining high survivability. I won't be going into each trait choice to keep this video as short as possible. Most notable trait points would be the Cleansing Ire, that gives us a massive boost to survivability by removing 3 conditions every time we use a full adrenaline bar, which can be done every 8 seconds. Now Mobile Strikes is the next trait point. This allows us to remove any type of immobilizers when we use movement skills. Even though we run a lot of minus conditions, I found this trait actually quite necessary, especially with all the immobilized stacking. Other than that, the rest of the traits speak for themselves. For the last 10 points, I left 3 options. Furious Speed. This is the one I usually run myself, which allows us to maintain permanent swiftness in combat. This way I'm 100% certain that I can keep up with any class. Plus it gives you somewhat of an opportunity to kite your opponents. That extra 33% movement speed makes a massive difference. Now option 2, Leg Specialist. This is also one good choice. Roots any target that gets crippled by you for 1 single second. This is a decent trait. It allows you to control your opponents a little bit more with the abilities that cripple, which is the Greatsword 4 Blade Trail and the Hammer 3 Hammer Shock. Finally, Death from Above. 50% reduction to fall damage. This is more of a troll trait. I use it mainly in World vs. World when I'm planning to roam near areas with a lot of cliffs. And the way how I use it is I run near a cliff, jump off, and when enemy players see me near 50% health, they think it's safe to jump down after you, and when they do, they end up being dead. Oh, a good example of this is if you check out my full regen warrior video, you'll see a couple of guys just jump after me when I survived that fall. Now moving into our equipment, for the armor we use full berserker stats, which is power, precision and critical damage. This allows us to get our high DPS because of the high crit chance and the high critical damage. In our rune slots, we use the superior rune of Melandru. The main reason for this choice is to keep the conditions on us as short as possible in combination with our trait I don't know how you pronounce this one, Dog March. In combination with that and the food, Poultry and Leek soup, we are able to massively reduce any type of condition applied to us and almost negate any type of immobilize. After testing out a couple of weapons, the hammer and greatsword came out the best. Now the hammer is the main weapon we want to use in this build. It deals insane amount of damage, especially with our trait that increases our damage by 25%. What you want to do is always use the F1 burst skill when you switch to hammer. Make sure you hit your opponent, keep their chain knocked down. My main rotation on this hammer is starting up with the Earthshaker, which allows me to jump into the target and stun them. This is actually freaking amazing. On a full adrenaline bar, you stun for 2 seconds in AoE. After that, I use my staggering blow to knock them down, and I apply weakness if needed. Because depending on the class, if it's a burst class, I apply the weakness then, the fierce blow. By that, they should have started standing up, and then you use your backbreaker to drop him down again. You switch over to your greatsword, start your 100 blades, try to get as much hits as possible. When they get out, you go for your spin, your whirlwind attack. Do not use your burst skill on your greatsword. It's not worth it. Just keep your adrenaline bar for the hammer. You should, if you're actively hitting all your skills, get almost a full adrenaline bar by the time you're going to switch back to the hammer. Also, good choices would be using the Blade Trail and the Rush. Rush deals insane amount of damage if you hit it, and also removes any types of immobilize. Then switch back to your hammer and do the rotation again. You can also use your Pulse Charge, and the main reason why I would use Pulse Charge is to prepare it for my 100 blades. The reason I picked the Greatsword over any other weapon set is for its mobility. It gives me a decent amount of mobility. With the number 3, we're able to spin away, which also removes immobilize since it's a movement skill. Then we have our number 5 rush, which we can also get a decent escape. And we can deal some heavy damage with the 100 blades if we can prepare them well with the hammer or the bolt charge. Now for utilities, we use the healing signet. Currently it's one of the best heals. You do not ever use it, you just leave it running. The 400 health seconds, it's insane. Next to the healing signet, we have our bolt charge, which is also a mobility skill. Don't be afraid to use this to run away from your opponents. If you get outnumbered and you know you will die by engaging on them, just use your bolt charge to get away. Make sure you have nothing targeted, otherwise it will go towards the target. Bolt charge is used for the 100 blades, so we prepare our opponent, make sure he gets knocked down, and so we can at least get a couple of seconds of 100 blades on our opponent. Now you can also use it to interrupt opponents when you see any crazy skills being casted or your opponent is trying to run away. But my main use would still be the 100 blades. Then we have our End Your Pain. You take no damage from physical damage, but condition damage will still hit you, and also control effects, so you don't have stability. This also breaks a stun. I would use End Your Pain mainly if I'm expecting a heavy hit that I cannot dodge. Let's say I'm playing against another control warrior and he drops me down. I already used my stability and I can see 100 blades coming up where I have no way of escaping it. That's when I activate my End Your Pain. Or if I am getting DPS by multiple classes and I need to buy myself a couple of seconds to regenerate or get to a safe area. And due to our trait, we actually get 6 seconds worth of figure if we use a stance, which allows us to have more dodges. Then for our final normal utility, we get Balance Stance. This gives us 8 seconds worth of stability. This allows us to be immune to any type of control effects, so stuns, knockbacks, and all that kind of stuff. Also gives us a stun break. So if you get knocked down and you're expecting multiple stuns, you're expecting high damage and you don't want to pop your End Your Pain, or you already popped it and you need something to get you up fast, you can use Balance Stance. I also like to use this to Stability Stomp, which means that no down player skill can interrupt you from the stomp. Sometimes it depends on how many opponents there are. If there's multiple opponents, I pop this at the same time with End Your Pain to make sure that I can safely finish off my opponent without taking too much damage. And moving into our elite, there's only one choice, which is the Signet of Rage. Gives us our Fury, which is a 20% critical chance. It'll put us at a pretty high critical chance rate, which allows us to deal a lot more damage. We also get our 30 seconds worth of swiftness, which keeps up the permanent swiftness, and 5 stacks of might, which is an okay damage boost. It's nothing too crazy. As final for our build, we move into food. We use the balls of Poultry and Leek soup. I think that's how you pronounce it. Gives us minus 36% Condi duration and 60 vitality. This is mainly used in combination with our Dog March trait and our Melandru runes to get some insane Condi duration reduction, which allows us to survive much better against Condi classes. And next to that, we use the Hardened Sharpening Stones, which gives us power equal to 5% of our toughness and power equal to 3% of our vitality. Hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know if you want to see something in the future. I'm always up for new ideas for content. And good luck with your warrior.